The nation's second largest telco, Optus, is being sued in the federal court over last year's network outage in which hundreds of calls failed to reach 000. The Australian Communications and Media Authority alleges that Optus breached two legal obligations more than 1,000 times. Business reporter Amelia Turzon joins us now from Melbourne with more. Amelia, hi there. You covered this outage at the time. Remind us what happened.
Yeah, this was a shocking outage. It was linked to two deaths after people couldn't get through on 000. Now, the massive outage in September, it went for almost 14 hours across several Australian states. We now know that 75% of 000 calls failed from a total of 605 attempts in the outage. And generally, if there is a 000 outage, the obligation is for calls to connect via another route. This is a method that's known as camping on, but this didn't happen in some instances in the September outage. Now, there was a Senate inquiry into this, very fiery, and a review by the academic Dr. Kerry Scott. Now, her report found a routine network upgrade was plagued by multiple failures by Optus and its contractor Nokia, with as many as 10 crucial mistakes being made there. Now, it also found that Optus's call centre didn't escalate warnings from 5 callers who called up and said that 000 calls were failing them.
All right, so Amelia, which obligations is Optus accused of breaching?
So the regulator, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, they allege that Optus breached two legal obligations more than 1,000 times. Now, these include making sure that customers who made emergency calls had access to this call service and to ensure that those calls were carried out appropriately. Now, the maximum penalty available to the court is $250,000 per contravention, but as I mentioned, more than 1,000 contraventions alleged here. I've just spoken to an expert who says they think the fine could be exponential, 250 million, they say, because of the number of times that ACMA is alleging Optus broke this.
I think that the company will do its absolute best to try and minimise the damage. The evidence is quite clear. The company has admitted that there were problems. There's been investigations which show quite clearly that the company was in breach of the regulations, and really the reasons for the breaches were things that should never have occurred in a modern telecommunications company. And so therefore, defending vigorously will really be amounting to trying to minimise the financial damage.
Now, we've had a response from the Communications Minister. She says she welcomes this action. We've also had a response from Optus today. They say they acknowledge the legal proceedings but can't comment directly, and they say that our focus remains on building a stronger and better Optus. They say they continue to invest in network resilience, strengthening their systems, processes, building and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability. As I mentioned, if they lose this case, they could be up for tens of millions of fines.